just will not open up SolidWorks. So I apologize for posting this video so late. I thought I had posted this, and then I found out that no, indeed I had not. So guess I have to now. So when we left off, pardon me, I also have hiccups. When we left off, this was the design that we had. We have a nice little bike looking thing. And when I move really quickly, that whole assembly just turns into a block shape. That's fantastic. Excuse me. Anyways, this itself, I mean, we could take screenshots of this, shut off the planes, try to take nice pictures. By itself, we could make some nice looking pictures, but really they're not very professional. This would be something that you'd oftentimes maybe, share internally, but not really show to anyone else. Another thing that you can do that is available to you is SolidWorks has a visualize program, and the SolidWorks visualize, if you wanted to showcase your 3D model at all, that is probably the best way to do it. It takes a little bit, develops a very professional looking picture, but you can apply materials to it. You can apply lighting, you can apply cameras, and you can get some really, really nice looking things out of it. Just as an example of that, let me see if I can find where I put it. Oh, it's up here. Oh, excuse me. I created some fun SolidWorks here, and I was able to come up with some interesting looking videos that way. I think I put them on a green background so that I could crop out the green. But if you're going to use visualize, you can make some very professional looking videos or videos and images that way. If you're going to output a SolidWorks image, that's probably the best way to do it. So let me see if I can run this video quick. Oh, excuse me. Like here, all I did was I rotated the dome shield using the SolidWorks display, and I got that out of it. So if you want to have a video or an animation or a picture, visualize is the way to do it. You don't just screenshot directly out of SolidWorks. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is the other side of professional display, and that is the last of the three. So here we've done parts, we've done assemblies. Now we're going to go into drawings. Now drawings are very similar to the layouts that you would have in AutoCAD. And then it's, which one do I pick? Do I just pick the top one? Well, I've created, if I go into here quickly, I have created a file. I put it under Project 2, and that file is the Done Sheet Format.sldrt. It's a SolidWorks drawing template file. I've got it saved on my computer. You're going to need to download this. Yes, I did upload it at 3:11 in the morning. I adjusted it slightly. But now I'm going to go navigate to that file, which I have saved in Dome Classes 210 right here. Okay, it'll give me a preview of it. Height and the width. It's a 8.5 by 11 sheet, standard sheet. I made this so that you could print it directly on a printer. But it just comes in and it looks like this. And it's going to ask me automatically, well, you got to start by inserting something. So click on the bike assembly. I get this box. Now, when I bring in this box, I'm putting down what's called a model view. A model view is it's a view of the model. You'll notice if I push over here to the right, I'm creating what's called a projected view. If you're looking from the right direction, that's what you would see. If I go up here, this is what it looks like from the top. That's also another projected view. So this is your model view, and from your model view, you can create projected views. If I drag it up at an angle, like this, I create an isometric view. So we'll talk about what each of these means a little bit. First of all, you go to your view layout. Your standard 3 views are these 3. It's a single model view with 2 projected views. You can also bring in 3 different model views. The nice thing about this is that these actually do all move with each other. You'll notice if I move the model view, it moves the projected views with them. Everything is, if I see a pedal here, I can map that pedal location to that one over there, and I can do the same over here. Okay, so that's just some initial points. Now you'll notice also here down here, I've got a scale of 1 to 32. SolidWorks will automatically configure a scale size to try to accurately fit. SolidWorks is going to freak out because I'm not connected to the internet. I'm going to have to connect to Doan's VPN real quick. When you download this, is go into File and Properties. Okay. Now for the author, I'll write CJS. For the title of this, I'm going to draw vehicle design. And for the subject, I'm just going to type the class EGR 2-ton. Okay. And you'll notice when I type those 3 things, this shows up here, this shows up here, and this shows up here. Everything else on this entire page is going to autofill, just because that's how I made the formats. But I am going to need to change the name of the drawing and the description. So I am going to need to change the name of the drawing and the description. So here, I click on this, delete it, and I'll change the name to full assembly. Okay, and then I will go down to my description. No, there we go. Delete it, and I will change it to overview of a full vehicle assembly. Okay, some description that explains what it is. It's a little bit more professional. I go over here and hit OK, and now I have changed the format. Now let's say I don't like this scale. Okay, how would I change the scale? Well, the date automatically fills out. Every time you go to edit this, the date will update. So if you open this multiple times, you'll notice the date shows the first date you show it. But if you go in here and edit the title at all, and then hit the green check mark, it will update the date, it'll update the scale, it'll update the sheet numbers at that point. You may need to do that just to get your sheet nice, at least to look at. But if I want to change the scale, I have to right click, go down, hit these down arrows, and it opens up this thing called property. So once again, if I want to change the sheet scale, I right click somewhere on the page, go down, hit the down arrows, click on properties. When properties opens up, you'll see that the sheet scale is 1 to 32. Okay, and if I change this to 1 to 30, and apply, you'll notice everything gets slightly larger. I probably don't want to go much bigger than 1 to 30 because this is already fairly large. Similar to what we did in AutoCAD, we're going to want to try to get this to look professional. Any dimensions that you're going to want to have, go in here, smart dimensions, see if I can dimension from one end of the wheel to the other, which I probably won't be able to. But there, I can show there's the distance between the two. Now you'll notice this doesn't say inches on it. You can go into the dimension style and you can actually modify it so that it does say inches. Yeah, that's fine, but I've got down here units, inches, so what it should say is just, okay, if this is a value, it'll come in inches. If you did your drawing in millimeters, you'll have to make sure that the units shows millimeters. Same if you did it elsewhere. Okay, so I'm just going to show a few little things. On your overall assembly, you're mostly focused on trying to show the overall dimensions of your design. So here, let's say if I want to show the height between these two, I could show that, something like that. Or if I wanted to go to this page over here and show the overall height, I could click on the bottom point and then click up here on this line. And look, my total bike height is 51.83 inches, which is really huge. But I had big tires. Not going to work for a human, but whatever. So that's generally what we're going to want to do on each one of these pages. So first of all, I always like starting with a general assembly. The rule in AutoCAD is that, well, in AutoCAD and in SolidWorks, is you want your first page to be the very general view, and then your next pages to be more specific views of each individual component. I'll show you how I'm going to assemble this. But before I go on, I'm going to change this shading style. Now, going over here and looking at if I click on a drawing view, it gives me a bunch of different options. For each individual projected view and model view, you can change what each of these look like. Now, this has clicked use parent style, which means that it's using the same style as the model view. This one, you'll notice, also does not use the parent style. I've got it clicked on a different one. So you can set them different. Using parent style is nice because if I go down here and I say, oh, I'd really like, you can click this and it will show the hidden lines and everything. I think it makes it a little crazy for an overall assembly like this, so not showing the hidden lines is fine. You'll also notice you can change the view orientations. So let's say instead of using this front view, maybe I had accidentally drawn it so that my top view is my front view. If I change this to top, it'll give me an error message that say, oh, it'll update all of your views. And it does. By switching to top, you'll notice every view configuration changes. If you change your model view, all of your projected views will also change. Now, I didn't want that to happen, so I'm going to hit Control Z. Oh, it doesn't let me Control Z. I'm going to have to do that again. Okay, so I'll flip back to normal. But you would have a couple of dimensions here just to show the general sizing of this. And that would be your first page. Pretty easy. Got all of this done. That's all I need for my first page. Now, I'll go ahead and it automatically adds it with when we created this drawing. So that's nice. So here, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the bike frame. So I will click View Layout, click Model View. I will go Browse and find my main frame. Bring it in here, drop it in like this. Okay, create my two projected views. And then I will create my one isometric view. Okay, you'll notice here, now the sheet scale is a little bit too big. I need to shrink this down, maybe 1 to 32, maybe 1 to 40 even. Whatever the sheet scale is, it's just too big. This doesn't seem like 1 to 30 anymore. It feels like, yeah, it changed, 1 to 12. Put this back at 1 to 30. I might go to 1 to 24. Okay, so it's not unmanageable, but it's also not huge. What you want to make sure that you have on your page is you have enough size that you can actually dimension it. So here, because this is drawn at a scale of 1 to 24 inches, then somebody could come in here and actually measure each of these pieces, figure out what they are, and be able to draw from them. But it's always nice to be able to throw some dimensions on here. So I will zoom in to this piece, and I will dimension from here to here. Oh, that's not what I want. There we go. So there's 36 inches I have for that bar. I'll dimension this line right here. I'll dimension this radius. Now here, you can't over dimension this because this is this is not a standard drawing. It's a description. The dimensions that are put on here are meant to help somebody who's trying to make this file. So you can put on as many dimensions as you feel are necessary. I would caution you against just obsessively dimensioning absolutely everything, But I would say that it's generally a good idea to have more dimensions rather than fewer. You do need to make sure that they don't intersect each other. Like right now, this looks terrible. I'll probably have to drag it over here. My dimension lines intersect each other right there, which is kind of ugly. But other than that, it's not bad. I can show overall height over here, which I'll probably do. Dimension from that top curve down to the bottom curve. Just SolidWorks won't let me do that, so maybe I'll just not do that. Yeah, we'll just not do that. But you could dimension all of these, and I probably do need to go in here and dimension that it's a true radius of 1 inch. And all that means is it puts true here because we're not looking at an end-on view of that circle. It's actually an angled view, and from that, it's not even going to look like a circle. It looks more like an ellipse. But the true size of that, it is an actual circle, and the true size of it is an inch. So that's important to note. Now, one of the things that I like to do on every page is I like to have a notes section. It just gives some general information about building. So here, I'm going to have it listed at note 1. I'm going to say material is aluminum, and then stock 1 inch tubing. Okay, and then we'll just shrink it down, and that's my note number 1. I don't really have another note number 2, so just be my note. Exit, and that's it. That's my next sheet. But you'll notice I still need to go down here and name it. You'll notice my sheet number automatically updated with the number of sheets and which sheet number I'm on. Change the name of the drawing to bike frame, and then there's of the bike frame. Okay, hit the OK button. My scale is right, my sheet numbers are right, it's in inches, date is right, drawn by, everything's good to go. I can keep going, adding new sheets, continuing to add parts. So here I'll go to a view layout, do a model view, browse. I'm going to grab just a wheel, open, put it in here, and I'll do a side view. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that if I do a top view, the top view and the side view look identical. This component has radial symmetry, and for that reason, it's not having two views is unnecessary. I'll do my projected view as I have done. Then I'll hit escape. But I'm going to take this projected view. I'm going to delete it. I like the isometric view because it's nice. Scale's a little weird. Don't know if I like how huge it is. But I suppose if I can get all of the dimensions on here, that'll be enough for me. So click my smart dimensions, zoom in, and the most important piece of this feature is that I dimension that center hub. It's a 1 inch center hub. Okay? And you know what? I'll dimension the thickness too. I'll draw that line out as well. Hopefully that makes some amount of sense. I could do I probably should do a detail view here. So I'll go to my, yeah, because this is not the best way to dimension my wheel. I'm going to go in here, right click in here, get out of dimension style, go to my properties. It's on a scale of 1 to 8. I'm going to change this to 1 to 16. Just make it about half the size. Keep these the way they are. this one with this selected, go ahead and make that a shaded view, just to make it more interesting. And then I'm going to create a detail view. So first thing it's going to do is, which one do you want to go off of? Well, I want to do a detail view here, and I want it to be the center of this wheel. Which did not exactly work. But, yeah, that's how you would do it. Now I want to go back in here, move this circle, make it a little bit bigger, move it to the center. Okay, so my detail view, notice how it says the scale. It's because it's different from the sheet scale. If I go in here, I think I can actually pick, what I want the scale to be. I'm going to have to make this a 1:4, make it a little bit more visible. Bike wheel. And details of the bike wheel. So here you would keep doing this for every one of your drawing pieces. Now what I'm going to show next, just quickly, is how are you going to handle one of our assemblies. Oh, I gotta hit yes. So I'm going to add an assembly quick, and so go to my view layout, click model view, and the assembly I'm going to add is, I'm going to add the front assembly. Okay, so you always add the assembly before you add the parts. Do my projected views. There we go. Make it look a little nicer before I get started. Gotta get one more view. Here. Okay, just change the color on that to make it look nicer. And here's my assembly. Now I brought in my assembly as a piece. I will actually call this the front handlebar assembly. And the next piece I'm going to add is my next drawings are going to be when I go to my model view, I'm already in that front handlebar assembly. I'll add in the handlebars individually, and I'll just do dimensions based off of that. Okay, so here you always want to start more general and then build out parts. Okay, now I'm going to leave it at this. Well, I guess I should at least annotate it and finish this page. But you would want to do this for every one of your parts so that you do have a good description of your parts that you have. Okay, because your overall goal is you have to try to make this something that someone could build. Using a proper sheet scale is necessary. Handlebar. Okay, and usually I also like to, in the description, reference the assembly that this piece is used in. So here I may say handlebar front assembly. Okay. Now, when you go to print, hit OK, what you do is you go File and you go into Print. I'm going to go into PDF Report Writer. If you have a different PDF creator, Microsoft Print to a PDF, that also works. And what you want to make sure you click on is All Sheets. Okay, or you can pick a certain number of sheets. Hit OK. It'll bring this up. It'll bring up the file. Where do you want to save it? Well, I want to save it in my folder with everything else, the Project 2 folder, and I want to save it as bikeassem.pdf. Hit that. We'll do medium compression. That'll be nice. If you want really high video, well, high quality, you can make that. If you already have an existing PDF, you can add this onto the end of it. That's nice. I will not select that because it's creating a brand new one. I'll go ahead and hit OK. It'll take a little bit for it to spool all the pages, but it'll print all of these into one nice single document. And this is what it looks like. You also notice I got this disclaimer down here at the bottom. Can't help that. But this is what it would look like then. Okay. You'll need to add all of your parts, or at least most of your parts, into your drawing, and you should have your drawing file for each one, well, at least for your proposal. Might be a nice idea for you to include the overall assembly with the dimensions. I lost my dimensions, but include the overall assembly. It would be a good idea to include something like this on your poster, but most of you should have had your posters handed in by now, so that's a different story. I'm not requiring that. I wish I would have given you this video weeks ago, but good luck on